It's interesting to me because it's not like the Judeo-Christian story was really a happy one, as far as I can tell. You know, I mean, there was heaven, but the chances you were going to get in, man, that was low. And mostly it was fair bit of original sin, you know, and a fair bit of you wrestling with all of your inadequacies and your proclivity towards malevolence, to pick up your cross, to bear your suffering, to understand that, you know, there is a war in your soul between the forces of good and evil. It's like how that's an opiate is beyond me. I mean, if I was going to design an opiate that made people feel better, I'd certainly dispense with a fair bit of that. It's like, whatever you do is okay. We could start with that. There's certainly no hell. That's something we're going to get rid of right away. A little less guilt and shame would be, it can be like a hippie cult in the 1960s, you know, with a little more marijuana and some free sex, something like that. So I don't really understand the illusion idea. There is Marx's criticism, I suppose, of the belief of, you know, the great father in the sky who still doesn't seem to me to be that, like, he's sort of still kind of a nightmarish creature, all things considered, since at least in principle he's keeping track of everything you do, even more than you are, and that's not such a good thing, but whatever. So it's a foolish criticism, as far as I can tell. It doesn't matter, he still criticized it. The criticism of religion is therefore in embryo the criticism of that veil of tears of which religion is the halo. Criticism, meaning his, has plucked the imaginary flowers on the chain, not in order that man shall continue to bear that chain without fantasy or consolation, but so that he shall throw off the chain and pluck the living flower. That's something that plenty of Marxists did, I can tell you. The criticism of religion disillusions man so that he will think, act, and fashion his reality like a man who has discarded his illusions and regained his senses, so that he will move around himself as his own true sun. S-U-N. Yeah, well, that's Marxism in a nutshell, all right. I mean, that's the fundamental definition of pathological narcissism. So that he will move around himself as his own true sun. Right. Religion is only the illusory sun which revolves around man as long as he does not revolve around himself. And, you know, generally, don't we use that as an insult? He only revolves around himself. Isn't that an insult? And isn't there a reason for that? Don't we assume that there's something that you should be revolving around that isn't just yourself?